E3. User authorized. E3 unlocked.
Hey, nice email.
Welcome to the Electronic Entertainment Expo 2011. Proudly sponsored by Best Buy.
Is that not the fastest change of shirt you have ever seen in your life? Welcome back to the stage show. Of course, I am your host, Kevin Van Ord, at least for a little while. And we're going to kick off the live portion of things today by talking to Tommy with Ubisoft. You've brought Ghost Recon Future Soldier to show us. You've got some live gameplay. Before we jump into the gameplay, why don't you give us an idea of what we can expect to see today that's new that you're showing for the first time?
So there are a lot of components. What we're going to see today is going to be part of the single-player campaign, which can also be played up to 4-player co-op. What we're going to see today is one of the conflicts that the Ghosts run into. There are several new mechanics within the Ghost Recon Future Soldier that we're going to show. There's going to be the coordinated shot is going to be how we're going to open up the sequence. We're going to show some of the stealth takedowns. There are some breaching mechanics that we're going to show, and then the diamond formation is a new thing for Ghost Recon Future Soldier as well. That's going to be shown at the end, where we have a hostage rescue situation. So.
Great. Well, why don't we jump in, take a look at the game, and tell us exactly. Set up the scenario for us.
So what you're seeing right now, they just flipped the switch on the augmented reality, which is another visual identifier for our brand. So what you're seeing right now is the Ghosts have been inserted in Nigeria, and they're infiltrating what they believe is a weapons ring that they're trying to bring down. And throughout the campaign, they'll realize that the threat is actually much larger. Here you're going to see that synchronized shot. So all the Ghosts are lining up their shot, and right around when the player fires, all the Ghosts fire at the same time. Allows you to do that synchronized takedown. So that drops 4 enemies at one time. Now, as the Ghosts get into position, you'll see the augmented reality, the system that we have in place, allows us to communicate position of enemies, so we can sneak in for the stealth kill, silent kill, without giving away the Ghost's awareness. The nice thing about this is, with the augmented reality in the game, you can see it around the weapon. We call that the weapon augmented reality. You see the information in front of the soldier. It shows that he's got his sensor grenades. It shows how many rounds he has in his magazine and how many rounds he has on him total. This is a technology that the military is actually working with, where they use augmented reality to communicate pertinent information to the soldier in the field. That technology allows us to take a lot of things that are typically done in a game HUD that feel very gamey and brand it into the world and make it something that's actually very authentic to not only what the military is doing today, but what they're going to be doing in the future soldiers.
Now, I actually saw something like what you're talking about, only with a mission objective on the wall, sort of in Splinter Cell Conviction style.
Right.
Will we also expect to see kind of the story involving itself in such a way through the environment?
Absolutely. So again, you see that up in the world now. You can see the data trees that we have in the background. This again is all playing into the augmented reality that actually exists today, and it's a very safe assumption that in the future, where this game takes place in the near future, you can see Roman setting up a synchronized shot. This is something that you can do by tagging your enemies, giving your AI, and even when you're playing co-op, giving locations or targets to shoot, and then you can bring those synchronized shots down together. But back to the augmented reality, it's something that's being used today. It's a technology that's being developed. You can absolutely use it today, and knowing that something the military is going to be integrating for the soldiers, and that we take place in the near future, this type of information is absolutely going to be online for soldiers in the field.
Now, when it comes to playing with the AI, people want to know about squad commands. Kevin Morgan in Miami, curious if we're going to see any, how you interact with your squad when you're playing offline, and any new commands that might be new to Future Soldier that we didn't see in, say, Advanced Warfighter.
So the focus right now is as you saw, the synchronized shot. That's the primary interaction that you have, being able to have the AI know what your intentions are in terms of bringing down larger groups of enemies all at one time. The beauty of the way the AI is going to be integrated is it's going to support a join on the fly. So if you're playing with your friends online, they drop out, the AI will drop in and take the place. of your friends, and then if you hit where you hit the next checkpoint, friends can join in again. So you'll be able to have friends join in during the co-op. You can go back and forth from 1 to 4 player.
Now, what are we seeing here? Is this this looks like something like an airstrike, or is this actually a story segment?
This is actually a story segment where HQ is communicating to you a mission objective information. So what you see is the satellite is highlighting the location of some of the enemies, and it's giving you the position of the ghost in relation to that story. So now you'll see Roman is working his soldier in a position. There's some really cool cover swap mechanics that maybe he'll demo for us here. He's going to do let's see what he does. So he's lining up a shot. He actually called one of the AI and had them do that takedown for him. Now he's flying the drone. So the intel loop is another very critical part of what we're doing on Future Soldier that's different from previous Ghost Recon titles. There are over 13 ways in the game to collect intel on your enemies. The drone, of course, is one of the most popular ways, particularly in studio. We love playing with the drone. It allows you to communicate enemy position back to your entire team. So there's our cover swap mechanic, which we love. It's an extremely intuitive cover swap system. Just by being in cover, you can, as you saw, he just vaulted over. You can peek out of cover. You look at your next cover element. It gives you an icon to show you where your character is going to go. You press and hold A. He sprints to that spot and goes right back into cover. Cover swap is actually the quickest way to move through the spaces in the game. It's one of the ways we encourage the player to stay into the cover mode using the cover swap mechanics. So now Roman's setting up another coordinated shot. He's marking targets.
Now, in order to pull off one of these shots, can you just do that anytime with your squad mates, or do I have to earn some kind of focus or something like that before I can pull that off?
You don't have to earn anything, but you do have to do it prior to combat. So right now you're in combat. They're aware. Your presence is known to your enemies. It is a stealth, considered a stealth type takedown. So you can set up those shots when you're still sneaking in on the enemies.
Now that they've...
There's a cover swap right there. Do you see that icon?
Yeah, I certainly do.
Yeah. And that's the fastest and safest way to move through the spaces. It encourages players to stay in the cover safe.
Now that we're seeing full-on action instead of stealthing in, describe a little bit about how you think Ghost Recon Future Soldier feels from this perspective as a shooter.
So one of the exciting features that we've integrated into the combat aspect of Future Soldier, I mentioned the cover before, our extremely elegant cover system, but one of the other mechanics that we have that's really unique to Future Soldier is we have a true suppression mechanic. We've taken the light machine gun class of weapons and we've given it a utility in Ghost Recon Future Soldier that actually is how it's used in the real world. An LMG in this game, if you're in cover and somebody's laying into the cover with an LMG, you'll see the camera push in. There was actually a shot of it earlier. The camera will push in, the camera will shake around and impede your ability to aim and fire back. It gives an added functionality to the rifleman role and that weapon, and it mirrors a more of an authentic use of that weapon as it's used in the military.
Now speaking of weapons, we saw in one of the press conferences, we saw the use of Microsoft's Kinect hardware and using, outfitting your weapons and using that to do things with your weapons. Now, talk to us about the upgrades for weapons and all the different weapons and how we can customize those for what we want them to be.
So obviously it's a Ghost Recon game, so combat is our number one ingredient that we focused on when we sat down and decided what Future Soldier was going to be. And at the forefront of combat is weaponry. So we have 52 weapons going into the games. That's across, and there's 49 attachments. So the demo that we do with the Kinect, we typically show the ACR. The ACR is an assault rifle. It has 10 points of customization on it. We take 49 different types of attachments, and with that weapon alone, we have over 1 million combination possibilities, depending on how you want to play with that weapon. These attachments are available to you to unlock through the character progression, and the gunsmith feature is the interface that we allow the player to use to interact with the weapon itself. So it works with the Kinect, it works with the controller. The idea is that you can actually break the weapon apart. So we allow the player to change the inner parts of the gun. They can change out the trigger system, they can change out the gas system. Of course, we have optics, side rail, magazine, stock, barrel length, all that stuff can change in the weapon. It's extremely customizable. And the weapon gunsmith is available for every weapon in the game. Not every weapon is going to have the 10 points of customization. Again, authenticity is is one of our main objectives when we go into to design weapons for Future Soldier. So we didn't make the guns customizable beyond what they are in real life. Another very important thing to understand about the weapon customization is that we wanted to create a very balanced system as well. So let's say you run out and buy the game day one, which I'm sure you're going to do. You'll run out and buy it day one. You've had the game for 2 months and you've been playing the game. You've gone through the character progression. You've unlocked a bunch of cool upgrades and attachments for your gun. I come in, I've bought the game just today. We sit down and play. We didn't want the players to be able to create the uber weapon and have this unbalanced experience for new players coming in. So there's a trade-off for every upgrade that you make to your weapon. If you want to upgrade the power, it's going to also impact your control, your aim, your accuracy. So we don't have somebody coming into the game unlocking all the big upgrades, maxing out one weapon, and then just owning everybody. It's a very balanced weapon system.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap things up. Now, we've seen the campaign. We also know there's co-op. There's also going to be some online competitive play, correct?
Oh, absolutely. The multiplayer is a huge focus for us. There's a ton of new features going in to support the multiplayer. So yeah, you can come to the booth. We've got the campaign running at the booth, 4-player co-op. We've got it running in single player, and we've got 4v4 multiplayer running at the booth right now too.
And why don't you remind us, platforms, release date, what's the stuff that we need to know?
It's going to be out for PS3 and Xbox 360 coming out in March 2012.
March 2012, you heard it here. Let's go ahead. Thanks so much for stopping by. Looking forward to Future Soldier. Let's head out to the show floor. I think we've got Xperia play to take a look at and maybe a few other things as well.